Some love stories don't fade when the credits roll. They slip into the background, reshaping lives quietly, resurfacing years later with a weight that never really left. For Don Johnson, one relationship has always stood apart, not because it endured without interruption, but because it refused to disappear. Long before the neon glow of Miami Vice or the cool confidence that made him an icon, Johnson's life was marked by instability. He was born in Flat Creek, Missouri, to parents barely out of adolescence themselves. What looked from the outside like a modest American upbringing hid a deeper fracture. Absence, emotional volatility, and abuse left him with a persistent sense of abandonment, something he wouldn't fully recognize until years later. His family moved to Wichita, Kansas, chasing stability. His father found work at Boeing, his mother worked retail, and the household learned how to survive by grinding forward. They were still poor, packed into cramped housing, but the greater burden wasn't financial, it was psychological. When his parents divorced, the tension inside him finally boiled over. Trouble followed, enough to land him before a juvenile court judge who ordered a change of environment. Living with his father brought structure, responsibility, and a rare sense of connection. Johnson would later describe those years outdoors, hunting, fishing, learning discipline as magical. But by 16, the pressure became unbearable. He left home, carrying with him a belief that hardship had forged resilience. He would need every bit of it. After high school, Johnson chased acting with the same intensity he brought to everything else. He enrolled in theater, dropped out, then headed west to study at the American Conservatory Theater. Opportunity came quickly, but success did not. Early film roles arrived, offering flashes of promise without real momentum. Hollywood let him work, but it didn't let him rise. It was during one of those early projects that his life veered into something far more complicated. On the set of The Herod Experiment, Johnson met Melanie Griffith, the daughter of co-star Tippi Hedren. He was 22, she was 14. Even by the loose standards of 1970s Hollywood, the connection was controversial, yet it was undeniable. What began as conversation and curiosity accelerated into something intense and volatile. Griffith later described being instantly struck by him. Johnson, conflicted but drawn in, hesitated only briefly. Their relationship unfolded in chaos, living together, breaking apart, colliding again. In 1976, after an emotional late-night call, they impulsively flew to Las Vegas and married. The union lasted barely months. Both would later admit it was driven by desperation rather than joy. Still, even separation failed to sever the bond. As Johnson's personal life unraveled, his career finally showed signs of life. A Boy and His Dog earned him critical acclaim and a major acting award. But success unsettled him. Fame amplified his insecurities, pushing him deeper into alcohol and drugs. What had once felt like freedom became a trap. The spiral continued through the late 1970s until fatherhood forced a reckoning. With Patty Darnanville and the birth of his son Jesse, Johnson confronted the damage he was causing. This time he asked for help and meant it. Rehab stuck, sobriety followed, but his career seemed finished. Then came Miami Vice. He nearly turned it down. When he finally accepted, the role transformed him into a global icon. Sonny Crockett's stubble, wardrobe, and restless edge weren't just style, they reflected Johnson himself. Fame returned, louder than ever, but so did temptation. In the midst of that success, he crossed paths again with Melanie Griffith. She was struggling, unraveling under the weight of addiction and a failing marriage. Helping her into rehab reopened wounds neither had healed. When her marriage ended, they found themselves drawn together once more. This time, they believed they were different. In 1989, they married again. For a while, it worked. Sobriety, family life, and the birth of their daughter, Dakota, brought a sense of peace neither had known. They stepped away from Hollywood excess, choosing Aspen over premieres, routine over chaos. But old patterns have a way of returning. Relapses followed, the marriage fractured under familiar strain. By 1996, it was over for good. Yet the end of their romance didn't end their connection. Years later, Johnson found lasting stability with Kelly Fledger, building a quiet life rooted in family rather than fame. Still, those close to him say Melanie Griffith remains the one woman he regrets losing, not as a wife, but as the version of themselves they never fully learned how to protect. Their bond endured through their daughter, shared history, and mutual care. He stood by her through serious health struggles. He remained close to her family. The love changed shape, but it never vanished. Today, what remains between Don Johnson and Melanie Griffith is something rare in Hollywood: peace. No drama, no longing, just respect, gratitude, and the understanding that some relationships don't end. They evolve. It's not the ending anyone once imagined, but it may be the truest one they ever reached.